For the entertainment office, any reference to Agent Orange was a problem, even if the program's code name appeared years later in some comic book movie.
There was an Operation Ranch Hand was designed to capture the Hulk. But the Pentagon didn't like it because, of course, Operation Ranch Hand was the name of a real operation using chemicals in Vietnam. So they were trying to avoid any kind of association with any of these sorts of things.
I'm requesting a National Command Authority override. Angry man is unsecure.
You could call it petty, but in a way it's the Pentagon operating like a slickly oiled PR machine. But it's a slickly oiled PR machine that is not just advertising toothpaste, it's advertising the most violent and powerful organizations on the planet.
The office is also touchy about nuclear weapons. There's a long history of rejecting movies that suggest they might not entirely be under control. Take one from the Cold War, The Day After, which envisioned the outcome of a nuclear exchange. It happened to be the highest rated TV movie in history. Nearly half the US population tuned in. President Reagan even watched it. He wrote in his diary that it left a powerful impression on him, and its influence led directly to nuclear disarmament talks. The Pentagon denied this one because it didn't like the image of an accidental nuclear war, a skirmish that gets out of control. They wanted it to be crystal clear that the Soviets started it. They had a problem with this scene in particular.
Well, maybe they'll contain it. After all, I've still got symphony tickets for tonight.
The thing that bothers me is that damn launch-on warning.
What's that?
That's when one side tells the other that they're going to fire their missiles as soon as they think the other guy's missiles are already on the way.
You know, use them or lose them.
The Pentagon wanted this out. We do not have a launch-on warning policy, they wrote, and the public should not be misled that we do. But they did. Launch-on warning was an official policy in the Single Integrated Operational Plan beginning in 1979. And because of it, the US came dangerously close to launching on a few occasions. Thankfully, the filmmakers stood their ground. Had the Pentagon successfully changed the script to lay all fault at the feet of the Russians, the film might have served to drive nuclear buildup instead. The Pentagon's view of nukes has reshaped entire franchises. Consider Godzilla. The monster began as an explicit allegory for the US nuclear bombing of Japan. And these critical associations held all the way through the 1998 version with Matthew Broderick. By 2014, though, the DoD was fully involved, so things had to change. The nuclear sub one of the monsters carries off into the jungle. They switched that from American to Russian, as not to give the impression that we could ever lose control of our arsenal.
Guardian 3, we located your Russian sub.
The whole attitude toward nukes had to change, too. There was a scene in the original script where one of the characters tells a harrowing story about his grandfather surviving the bombing of Hiroshima. The office wanted it gone. If this is an apology or questioning the decision to bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that will be a showstopper for us. So we got this speech instead.
The arrogance of man is thinking nature is in our control, and not the other way around.
There's more. The bomb goes from being the threat to helping solve the problem. Turns out the nukes weren't the monsters, but were actually being used to blow up monsters back in the day.
All those nuclear bomb tests in the 50s. Not tests.
They were trying to kill it.
And they were still our best hope. Beautiful, isn't it? Godzilla was different after this. The 2019 version didn't have DoD help, but it nevertheless stuck with the Nukes as Heroes theme. A planned explosion supercharges Godzilla to fight the good fight. It's hard to imagine a more complete reversal. This long-time warning about the dangers of proliferation is now an extension of the US military and something of an advertisement for the bomb.